Okay, I'd like to go ahead and call the Circleville City Council meeting to order. It is Tuesday, November the 19th at 2024 at 7 p.m. Melissa, could you do the roll call, please?
Keller.
Here.
Hedges.
Here.
Tice.
Here.
Plitzka.
Here.
Hallinan.
Absent.
Moats.
Here.
Duval.
Here.
If you could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father, who art in heaven,
Hallowed
hallowed
be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Council, you should have received a copy of the minutes for the November 5th, 2024 council meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes?
Move to approve as submitted.
So moved by Tom Duval to approve those minutes, seconded by John Moats. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank you very much. Reports from council members or committee reports. Does any council member have a report? Katie Hedges, the finance chair.
Thank you, President Keller. We had a finance meeting last Thursday, November 14th. As a result of that, 5 pieces of legislation are on the agenda this evening, which I will speak to when we get to them. We're also going to need to have another finance meeting. Time confirmation to be firmed still, but we're anticipating next Tuesday, the 26th at 5:45 p.m.
So you will wait. You're pretty sure that's going to happen?
Mark, do you feel good about that?
I'm sorry, what date?
Next Tuesday?
Tuesday?
Yeah.
I can make that.
Yeah.
So finance, 5:45, November 26th.
And because you were going to do yours at 6, so we'll do 5:45. Yep.
All right, thank you very much. Anyone else? Sherry Tice, strategic planning chair.
Thank you, President Keller. We did have a strategic planning meeting last Tuesday, and we have one resolution on the agenda this evening.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Tom Plitzka, the judicial committee chair.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We have a judicial committee meeting scheduled for 6 p.m. on Thursday, December 19th. And then also on Tuesday, December 11th, a number of council members and administration will be touring the Rumpke Recycling and Resource Center in Columbus. That's all. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Anyone else? Tom or John? No? All right, thank you. So just as a recap, finance meeting next Tuesday, 5:45 p.m. Judicial committee, December the 19th at 6 p.m. That's a Thursday.
Yes.
And again, council has been invited to a tour of the Rumpke Recycling Center, December the 11th. And that location is in Columbus at their facility.
Yes.
I don't know the address off the top of my head. Okay. All right. Reports from city officials that are here as council's guests. We have the auditor, law director, Mayor. Mark, do you have a report?
I do not.
Law director, Kendra Kinney.
At this time, I do not have a report. Obviously, you can see the agenda is full of lots of my work from the last few weeks, so we'll speak to those when they hit the floor tonight.
Great, thank you. Mayor Michelle Blanton.
Yes, thank you, President Keller. I just wanted to give an update on the conference that I attended last week. The conference was the National League of Cities. The National League of Cities is an organization comprised of city, town, and village leaders that are focused on improving the quality of life for their current and future constituents. And so there were over 4,000 people who attended this conference in Tampa. They were members of city councils, city managers, mayors, and other city workers who worked for municipalities that are a member. Among the topics that were covered at the sessions throughout the conference was PFAS in water supplies, cybersecurity, homelessness. We talked about education and cities' roles, the role that cities sometimes plays with education and communities. Talked about public safety, among other topics. Again, I was one of over 4,000 people from across the country who attended. One of the resources that the National League of Cities provides for communities is called the Local Infrastructure Hub. And what the Local Infrastructure Hub is it's a grant writing group, if you will, that is part of the National League of Cities that offers free resources and free technical assistance to municipalities, towns, and villages for grant writing and for walking them through writing grants for federal monies. And so it is a free resource that they provide among other federal advocacy resources for money. One of the meetings that was held there was a NLC Rail Roundtable. And what that was is it was the Federal Rail Administration, federal advocacy lobbyists who lobbied to Congress at the national level for funds for local municipalities. So I was able to interact with members of those teams to talk about our grade separation project that we have asked and applied for the funds for. It was a great opportunity to network across the country with other people who do what we do on a daily basis. I would ask that that council consider becoming a member of the National League of Cities. It is based on population. The fee per year for a city of our size is a little less than $2,000 to allow us to have the resources that can be afforded by this organization. That while it may be $2,000, can equal millions of dollars if we are successful in our grant writing capabilities through this organization. So just something to consider. Great time. Happy to talk with you about any member of council who has questions about the sessions that I attended. One of the other timely sessions that I attended was specifically for zero-based budgeting. And as we go into the budget season for the rest of this year and all of 2025, it was timely to be able to experience that session and learn from people who have been in a similar, if not more dire situation than the city of Circleville. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you very much. Council, have any questions for the elected officials here tonight? No? All right, thank you very much. That brings us to the public address to city council portion of tonight's meeting. We welcome comments from the public, and anybody who'd like to speak, you have up to 5 minutes. Come right on up. If you give us your name and your address.
Okay, my name is Emily Sturgeon and I live at 419 East Main Street. I just wanted to talk about the unsheltered homeless in Circleville and the fact that it seems to be growing as far as inside the city limits and during all hours of the day and night. In Grants Pass, Oregon, there was a ordinance passed where they started creating requirements for homeless people and allowing different types of penalties for being in the city and creating a problem inside the city. And so before it continues to become a larger issue for Circleville, as I can see it sitting on my front porch, just the difference from when I moved here 4 years ago, I was requesting that the council would look into different ordinances that have been passed throughout the country, several cities within the country, and also even Newark just passed an ordinance based on unsheltered homeless and making it so that they are not creating problems within the city limits. That's all. I just want to request the city council looks into that.
Thank you, Emily, for being here. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Anyone else? Zach Brooks,
Hi.
welcome to city council.
Thank you. I've never been here before. This is my first time, so I'm glad to speak to you guys. No, this is weird being on the other side of the wall, but I wanted to come out tonight and address council and members of the community with a very heavy heart, of course. Due to unforeseen family circumstances, I had to move out of my ward just recently, which prompted my resignation last week. I just wanted to come out and say thank you to all of you for being excellent colleagues and welcoming me, and getting to work alongside all of you guys has been an absolute honor and privilege, and getting to serve this community has been a dream come true. So thank you again to everybody that has supported me over the last year, and I hope to see you all very soon.
Zach, you're always welcome, as you know, and you served the Third Ward residents well, and the city of Circleville as
Thank
the
you.
same.
Thank you.
So again, thank you for what you did.
Thank you.
I understand your situation, and again, I appreciate you coming up, and you know you're always welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Zach.
Thanks. Anyone else? Mr. Horning, come right on up.
Hi, I'm Dave Horning, 569 Plaza Drive, and I'd just like to say thank you to Barry and the mayor and the administration for jumping on this lead situation. By getting involved early, being in compliance early, we get the best chance of getting the resources, the reimbursement from the EPA. And I think, congratulations to Jim Stanley and Brian Frost for doing a great job. I just think that needs to be said.
Yeah, there's a lot of effort that went into that to be able to be the point to identify those areas. And you're right, if we can get some federal funding to help pay for all that, or some of it, that'll be very beneficial.
We're first in line.
We hope. Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? All right. That brings us to the business portion of tonight's meeting. So we have two absences tonight, with the vacant Third Ward seat and another council member that is absent. So council, we cannot suspend the rules of any piece of legislation. So all ordinances will need to be held for second reading. So let's go down through those first, and we'll talk about a plan on how we'll address that. Okay?
Communications.
Let's do communications. Melissa, thank you. Let's do that too.
The city has received 3 pieces of communication. The first one was from the mayor's office. She copied council on a letter thanking Colin Hedges for agreeing to continue to serve on the Pickaway County Health District Board. His new term will expire December 31st, 2029. The second piece of communication council received was from Zach Brooks. Mr. Brooks submitted his resignation from the Third Ward seat on city council. And the third piece of communication that council received was a notice from the Ohio Department of Commerce that all permits to sell alcohol beverages will expire on February 1st, 2025. If there are any valid objections, they must be postmarked no later than January 2nd, 2025.
Okay, so before we take any motions, Colin's appointment to the Pickaway County Health District, does council have to do a voice vote on that?
It's the mayor's. I believe it's the mayor's.
It's a mayor's appointment.
Okay, I just know in previous Board of Health appointments, the mayor appoints, but council voice votes. So you can check on that, and get back if we do. We got time, we can do that the next meeting, okay? And the resignation, and having said that, all 3 communications, have a motion to place those on file. So moved by Tom Duvall, seconded by Tom Kutzka. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
President Keller, can we also move that the last piece of correspondence be posted to the city website with regards to the liquor license? So there's proper notice placed out there as well.
Yes, we can put that on the website because there are objections. I believe they're filed to the police department.
It should spell that out in there for all of
Okay.
them.
Yeah, whatever the Board of Liquor Control requires.
Yes.
Because this is, I think, their annual notice to us if people object to any particular license.
Correct. And I just would like that out there for everybody.
Sure. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks, Melissa, for the reminder. Okay, that brings us to the business portion of tonight's meeting. We have 7 pieces of legislation, so we'll go down through those.
A resolution of the city of Circleville supporting the Ohio Commission for the United States Semi-Quincentennial America 250 OH.
Council, you've heard the first reading of this resolution from the Strategic Planning Committee. Share.
Thank you, President Keller. Yes, this was brought to us by the mayor and Elizabeth Furness from the Visitors Bureau. Elizabeth, she's with us this evening. Would you like to come up and talk a little bit about the semi-quincentennial celebration? This marks the 250th birthday of the country, and they're going to put together a committee, I guess, over the next year to organize some events.
Absolutely. We're putting together a committee. Committee is comprised of, I think, we have 12 to 14 individuals that have expressed interest thus far. Those are all primarily from nonprofit organizations. It is important for us to pass the resolution sooner rather than later, just due to grant cycles. We need to be able to indicate that we are an America 250 by the end of 2024 to be able to apply for grants starting in January.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
perfect. Thank you.
Any other comments?
President Keller, does the suspending the rules apply to resolutions as well?
Or you can just motion to hold it for a second reading.
Okay, I'll make a motion to hold it for a second reading. Our next
So
meeting.
moved by Sherry Tice to hold this resolution for a second reading, seconded by John Moats. Roll call, please, to hold this for a second reading.
Hedges,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Blitzka,
Yes.
Moats,
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
It will be held for a second reading. Next one.
An ordinance appointing a clerk of city council for the city of Circleville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Council, you've heard the first reading of this ordinance. The committee of the whole reviewed this ordinance, appointing Melissa Burns as our clerk. There were 3 applicants, and she scored the highest of the 3 applicants. And it's the recommendation of the people doing the interviewing that she be appointed as clerk. But again, we cannot suspend the rules.
I'll recommend we hold this for our next meeting.
Motion to hold this for second reading by Tom Klitschko, second by John Moats. Roll call, please, to hold this for a second reading.
Hedges,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Blitzka,
Yes.
Moats,
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
It will be held for a second reading.
An ordinance to provide for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Circleville, state of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025.
Council, you've heard the first reading of this ordinance is from the Finance Committee. Katie?
Thank you. So I am actually going to turn this over to Mr. Bidwell as he can give us kind of a high-level overview for the purposes of this ordinance, which is the budget.
Okay, thank you. So this is the budget ordinance for 2025. What this will do is basically cover all the expenditures that we have for 2025 for everything from labor to purchases. Now, with this, there was some little bit more work because with the levy did fail. So there's had to be some changes made to this, which moved around some of the safety expenditures to other funds. With that happening, some of the funds are a little different than what you would have seen last year. But as you can see on the chart that I've sent out to you, we basically moved $2 million out of Fund 227. That money has been split between 101 and 212. And that's basically going to cover those expenses for this year. There will be some cuts going into this as well. Those will be determined at a later date. Haven't had the chance to go through those, and the administration will look into what we will need to do to basically be able to continue with the funds that we need for going forward to 2026. With that being said, the overall budget for the city, not including the enterprise, which is our utilities department, went up about $1 million. And that includes a couple grants, some money that's coming in that is going back out, that is it's accounted for separately. So it's kind of just a government accounting thing, but it is money that we have to show that we're expending, even though that's money coming in from some grants. We will be getting a couple other grants as well coming into next year that aren't accounted for because we just found out about them for some parkland. But that's really a high level look at it. I can give you an overall, I can give you the overall number. Basically what we're looking at last year, 2024's budget, or the budget we're in currently, we budgeted for $53,057,000. This year, we're budgeting for $45,404,000, and that is $8 million less. But that is mainly due to the utilities purchase of their the water treatment plant, and the costs for that are basically all incurred in 2024. So the cost is not rolling over in 2025, but the cost for everything other than the city has gone up approximately $1 million.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other comments?
So it came out of finance with a recommendation for passage. So we would, we do want to hold it for 3 readings regardless of the situation we have tonight. So we were going to ask to hold it. Or something.
Yeah, I was just gonna add, we did meet with, I did meet with the administration, the administrative staff today to talk about a plan for 2025, to take a deep dive into this budget, to see if there, or to not see if, but to identify places where we can cut or reduce some expenditures to help with the carryover that we will have going from 2025 into 2026. So that is a process that the administration will start this month going into next month. And then hopefully have some recommendations for council to consider at the beginning of, within the first quarter of 2025.
Okay, very good.
So I'd like to make a motion to hold this for a second reading.
Motion by Katie Hedges to hold this for second reading, seconded by Sherry Tice. Roll call, please, to hold this for second reading.
Hedges,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Plitzka,
Yes.
Moats.
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
Be held for second reading.
An ordinance amending the annual appropriation ordinance in the general fund 101, safety forces 0.1% income tax fund, 216, the police and fire disability pension fund, 217, Everett's DRD fund, 226, safety forces 0.5% income tax fund, 227, FEMA public assistance grant fund, 246, waterworks operating fund, 808, waterworks go bond retirement fund, 821, and sewage disposal debt fund 933 of the city of Circleville.
Council, you've heard the first reading of this ordinance again from the Finance Committee.
Thank you, President Keller. So this is our 14th housekeeping ordinance of the year. It's for just under $1.5 million. A couple of main call outs. There is about $928,000, which is for the ladder truck for the fire department from a FEMA grant. And then there is a $20,000 contract line that was the part of the money spent toward the contract for the police department that we have from Paul Parade. And like always, there was a detailed grid that was sent out to everybody for all of the costs associated with the housekeeping ordinance.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
I'd make a motion to hold this for a second reading.
Motion to hold this ordinance for second reading, seconded by John Moats. Roll call, please, on the motion to hold this for second reading.
Hedges.
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
Plitzka.
Yes.
Moats.
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
Sufficiency for DR Horton, resolution determining the sufficiency of the application to add certain parcels of real property to the Circleville New Community Authority District to amend the petition for establishment of the Circleville New Community Authority as a new community authority under Chapter 349 of the Ohio Revised Code, to set a date for a public hearing on the application as required by law and declaring an emergency.
Council, you've heard the first reading of this resolution. This is a resolution related to the NCA. It's a part of identifying specific projects. This one is the DR Horton project. It was reviewed by the Finance Committee.
Yeah, I was just basically going to say what you said. These E, F, and G all relate to the NCA, and each of them is tied to a specific project to add property to the NCA agreement that we already have. All 3 of these came with a recommendation for passage, so I would make a motion to hold for a second reading.
So moved by Katie Hedges, seconded by Sherry Tice. Roll call, please, to hold this for second reading.
Hedges.
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
Plitzka.
Yes.
Moats.
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
The resolution's held for second reading.
Sufficiency of Heritage Ponds, resolution determining the sufficiency of the application to add certain parcels of real property to the Circleville New Community Authority District to amend the petition for establishment of the Circleville New Community Authority as a new community authority under Chapter 349 of the Ohio Revised Code, to set a date for a public hearing on the application as required by law and declaring an emergency.
Council, you've heard the first reading of this resolution.
So this is the exact same thing as E. This one's just for the Heritage Ponds project. So I would like to make a motion to hold for a second reading.
So moved by Katie Hedges, seconded by Tom Duval. Roll call, please, to hold this for a second reading.
Hedges.
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
Plitzka.
Yes.
Moats.
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
The resolution will be held for a second reading.
Sufficiency for South Court Street, resolution determining the sufficiency of the application to add certain parcels of rural property to the Circleville New Community Authority District to amend the petition for establishments of the Circleville New Community Authority as a new community authority under Chapter 349 of the Ohio Revised Code, to set a date for a public hearing on the application as required by law and declaring an emergency.
Council, you've heard the first reading of this resolution.
Thank you, Melissa. This is the third one, and this is for the South Court Street property, and I'd make a motion to hold for a third reading. Second reading.
So moved to hold this resolution for second reading, seconded by Tom Klitzka. Roll call, please, on the motion to hold this for second reading.
Hedges.
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
Plitzka.
Yes.
Moats.
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, council. That brings us to the new business portion of tonight's meeting. Since nothing was passed, we will not be doing the oath of our new clerk. We'll do that once that ordinance passes. Letter A, we have a presentation tonight about recycling from Rumpke. Representative Jacob Heffron. Is that right?
Yeah.
Come on up to the podium and welcome to City Council.
Thank you.
And do you have anything that you're going to pass out or distribute?
I do.
If you could give it to the clerk, she'd be happy to do it for you.
Okay. These are common. What is being passed out is the draft mailer that we have been discussing, sending out to each of the residents. So, good evening, council, members of staff, and Circleville residents. My name is Jake Heffron, and I am the representative from Rumpke in the Columbus area. Excited to be here tonight to talk to you guys about curbside recycling. I know Erica Tucker from RPHF Solid Waste District is here with me as well. And because of members of staff and council voicing their opinions about wanting to implement a curbside recycling program, and us with the need of capacity and material, I'm here tonight. So a little background, Rumpke just recently opened a $110 million MRF, or material recovery facility, in Columbus, Ohio. This is the largest and most advanced recycling facility in North America, which is pretty neat. It's within 30 minutes of downtown Circleville. So what that means, our previous MRF had the capacity to process 167,000 tons a year. And this new facility has the ability to process 250,000 plus tons a year. Rumpke family has looked at myself and said, go find 100,000 tons. So here I am. While we're not going to find 100,000 tons in Circleville, we believe that a lot of the material that we can recover in that 100,000 is around the Columbus area, and we're just currently not collecting it. So you guys know Rumpke owns and operates a Circleville transfer station. We would run that recycling routes out of the same Circleville transfer station, except instead of dumping it there, we would drive it up to Columbus and dump the recycling up at our facility in Columbus. So what you have in front of you is a draft mailer that I think we deemed the name Tom Squared when we met with you guys a few weeks ago. So what we wanted to do is get a minimum amount of people signed up by March 1st, 2025 and start that. The reason being is that in order for us to effectively run a route with a full truck, we need at least 450 people to sign up, which I believe we can get. But that is the minimum threshold that we need in order to get this program off the ground. So that's the draft mailer. Our plan is to, send this out with, however you guys get messaging out to your residents and social media posts and things of that nature between now and February. And see what we get. I believe that we'll be able, ballpark, I bet we can get 750 to 1,000 people to sign up for this. We priced it at $6 a month for people who have Rumpke Trash Service already. If you don't have Rumpke Trash Service and you want to recycle with Rumpke, then it's $8 a month. So you're not required to have Rumpke for trash service if you want to recycle with us as well. This is for a 95-gallon cart, service one time a week. I can't tell you specifics on what day of the week that'll be because we don't know what the amount of people sign up for it is. So I'm here tonight to answer any of your questions. We have some really exciting things going on in our facility. And I think a few of you are going to be up at December to take a tour of our facility.
Yeah,
So
December 10th, 11 o'clock.
if
I
you
think-
guys, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just want to make sure that that's what I mentioned.
You
So
said
everything
it.
I've sent out has been the 10th. So
Yeah.
it's at 11 o'clock on December 10th.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure that that's what we have. Okay, very good. December 10th. Sorry, thank you.
So on each recycling bin comes a sticker on it with a list of acceptable items you can put in there. So all of your plastics, glass, paper, cardboard, steel cans, aluminum cans, things of that nature you can put in there. And it also helps Erica because she runs the Dropbox program here and she's said it's been a little bit overwhelmed with material.
Yeah.
It'll help offload that and then increase the amount of participation in the county as well. So here, just if you want to go into more detail, I'm happy to, but that's a high level overview of what the program is. And then I think the next steps we have here are to work with communicating this out to the city.
Hopefully curbside will help with the misuse of drop-off spots. Because sometimes people take their just normal trash there, then that really messes things up, I know. So maybe curbside will help remedy that.
My feeling is that people who are illegally dumping at those sites are going to dump at those sites regardless. I don't run the program here in RPHF, but I run the programs in Licking County and Delaware County, and I can tell you that we have curbside programs in both of those counties, and we still have to go around and pick up the TVs and furniture and
Sure.
mattresses that get left out there. But hopefully it does cut down on the mess that gets created at those
Sure.
sites. So
Questions from council members, Katie?
Just one. So if, I know that you can't commit to the date of pickup. However, if we are a Rumpke customer, if citizens are a Rumpke customer, would it be the same day as their?
we're going to
trash
try to
pickup?
keep it the same day.
Okay.
So the plan would be to deliver the carts the week of February 17th. And then the first day of service would be that Monday, March 3rd. And sometime that week would be the first day of service for this program.
Another question there, Jacob. Appreciate you joining us this evening and moving this forward. How about if I put things that shouldn't be in that 95-gallon, recycling bin itself? What happens?
So in a perfect world, there is no contamination, but obviously there is contamination when we, have these recycling programs. We've built our new facility to deal with contamination the best way possible, meaning 98%, 99% of what is recyclable is getting recycled inside of our facility. So you can feel very confident that if you're putting your paper, if you're recycling correctly, it is getting recycled. Around 10 to 12% of what goes through our facility is trash. So we still see about that 10, 12% residual rate, and we manage that. If it gets to that, 20, you go to a big city, like LA or Chicago, that number is 25, 30%. So we're very proud of that number here. And we think that people do recycle right for the most part. And we think that people that sign up for this program, they're paying for it. So for the most part, I think they're going to be doing the right thing here. It's not a program where everybody is forced to have a cart and and people don't want to do it, frankly. So they put trash in it.
I think the plus is too, I mean, I typically am over at your facility at least twice a week, with recyclable material and so on too. So looking forward to seeing that move forward. Definitely a plus.
Absolutely. And there's educational opportunities as well. We partnered with Ohio State and COSI to develop an education center inside of our facility as well. So, we can bring anybody from, we say age 10 up to come and check it out, because it's it's a little shocking to see what actually goes on inside of it. Because, I still have friends that they're like, you guys just have a tunnel that goes straight to the landfill. I was like, well, I don't think the Rumpke family would have invested this money if that was the case, but it is truly unique and something to see. So I'd encourage you all to make it up there if you can.
Good.
John.
Question. Yeah. One's a statement, one's a question. Now, just to get this information out, if I understood correctly, the same trucks that pick up the garbage, the same trucks pick up recycling. So as far as that, if we start doing that in the community, I think they should be aware that
Yes.
same trucks are coming, even
Yeah,
though
it's gonna-
it is definitely
You're
recycling.
going to get calls about that. This
Yeah.
truck was down our street earlier today, and it's picking up recycling now, and it's picking up trash earlier. We packed out the truck with trash early this morning, and now it's picking up recycling. So you are going to get you probably are going to get those calls, but I can assure you we're not, we need the material badly, so we're not throwing it away.
No, absolutely. It's just more informative so everybody was aware. And then the second part is, if you're a current customer and you do take recycling, is there a discount on your trash bill as well?
Not at this moment. Put that discount on the recycling bill, but I can talk with our team and see if there's anything available there.
Okay. Thank you.
Didn't hurt to ask, did it?
Your signal says no, right?
Didn't hurt to
I
ask.
get asked every day.
No different than what you're thinking.
Any other questions?
Yes, and I'm sure that Erica would,
It's a
say
bundle
yes on this
discount,
too.
isn't it?
But as far as the bins that are currently, or the containers that are currently in her office and out at your facility and Hicka, Rhodes, I guess it's the only ones we have left. They are not going away. So anybody that does not subscribe will still have the opportunity
Correct.
to put their recyclables in your containers.
Yep. Those bins will be staying.
Now, eventually, there are proposals for the future, but that's something I guess we'll talk about at a later date. The big thing is to get this kicked off and moving forward.
Yeah.
Jacob, thank you for being here.
No, thank
We'll
you
look
guys.
forward to
for having me.
seeing you. Will you be at the tour?
I will be.
Okay, see you then.
Yeah.
Look forward
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next, council, under new business, we have a guest, Elizabeth Furness from the Pickaway County Visitors Bureau. She's going to give us an update. Elizabeth, welcome.
I do have handouts. Actually, all kinds of good stuff.
Kudos to you and your team regarding the travel summit last Thursday.
Thank you.
Definitely an enjoyable evening. Certainly, we learned a little bit, made some new friends, and also acquaintances from the past too. So it was definitely an enjoyable evening. We appreciate what you and your team did.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much. Appreciate you attending as well.
Yeah, the food was great, and some of the local vendors that were able to be there, that was neat to see them as well.
We had the tourism policy director from the Ohio Chamber of Commerce, Matt McLaren, come speak. And so he was able to shed light on Ohio tourism and the numbers that have been revealed lately. And so I'll be able to recapture some of those this evening and be able to share a little bit more about tourism and how it's impacting Pickaway County. But first wanted to, who's familiar with this book? Anyone? I'll lend it. Great kids book, but it's humorous for adults as well.
Thank you,
It's the
Deb.
book with no pictures by BJ Nowak. It has sold over 2 million copies in 26 different languages. And it tells a humorous story, but inside there's no pictures, just words. And that's the story that I'm looking to share this evening with this document. It's the history of travel economics and what that means to Pickaway County. In that document, there's no pictures, no graphs, no charts. It's just words and numbers. We'll start out with Ohio tourism. In 2023, there were $56 billion in visitor spending. That's billion. 238 million visits. 84% of the overnight visitors are likely to return to Ohio again in the next 12 months. That's a big stat. And then $4.6 billion in state and local taxes. Pickaway County is actually a very large contributor to those numbers. With our spirit of hospitality, it enriches our community and makes this place a better place to live, work, play, and stay. The Pickaway County Visitor Bureau enhances the economic vitality of local businesses and communities through increasing our visitor spending, enhancing quality of life assets, and raising awareness of the county as a place to be in the world. We do this through educational awareness, exposure and engagement, and emotional connection, which is key in what we're doing right now. Let me tell you about the Pickaway County stats. And this is reported by the Ohio Department of Development. We had an opportunity, we received a grant through the county commissioners to conduct a study, a report, and it drills down all of the numbers and how it impacts our county. We had 126 million in annual visitor spending, which generated a total economic impact of 209 million. This is an increase year over year by 10.7%. Statewide, that number's only 4%. So we are exceeding statewide numbers at this point. Our visitors spend roughly $125 a day, and if they spend the night, it's up to $400. 65% of our visitors travel to see friends and family. So these are guests within our community. These are individuals that are either staying in our home, coming for the holidays, or they're also staying at hotels and nearby B&Bs. Our travel parameter, which is defined by the industry, is 50 miles or more away from our county. Right now, we are tracking Central Ohio, Columbus, Chillicothe, and Lancaster as our big visitor spends. However, I see this changing. Most recently, we had the first Ohio World Heritage Site designated. This is in Ross County, which is only 13 minutes, 14 minutes from here. This is equated to the Alamo or some of the larger World Heritage Sites. Alamo receives 2 million visitors a year. Ross County is ramping up for that right now. They have doubled their visitor spend. They're also seeing increase in visitors. What we're seeing is that 31% of those visitors are traveling up to Scioto Downs to stay. Once they get to that 270 outer belt, they're not coming back south. They're going ahead and getting in the mix of Central Ohio. We also have the other site. There's 8 sites located: Warren County, Ross County, and Licking. So once they hit that 270, they're heading to Licking County, and we can track that through AI. However, the good news is 82% of the visitors in Pickaway County seek natural amenities. So the information that Hannah shared last week regarding the parks, the 2 acquired, that's very important in this mix. We're also seeing pickleball, any kind of trails that we have. Deer Creek is a hot spot. Stages Pond, anything that we have to offer, that natural activity. We're also seeing our visitors, they are skewing younger. We're also having individuals that are moving into the county that are of that 25 to 44-year-old range. So as we start thinking about marketing and so forth, we within our office, our organization, are also skewing younger as far as technology in how we're doing our marketing and our branding and that overall messaging. Tourism in general, 6% of our jobs are tourism related, which equals out to about 1,500 total jobs in the tourism industry, 1,552 to be exact. It generates 44 million in wages, and the total tax revenue is a little over 26 million. In the absence of these tourism dollars, each household would need to contribute $642 annually to match that compensation for tourism. So those tax dollars are important to our community. Our funding comes from the lodging tax. And within Pickaway County, we have 4 different agreements. One is within City of Circleville, and that's a 6% lodging tax that's actually passed through the visitor. The visitor pays for that tax. So we don't have residents paying for it. It's a pass-through. And the Visitors Bureau receives 1.5% of that tax, which equals out to about $138,000 to about $140,000 annually. What we are also seeing is an increase in short-term rentals. Within the last 45 days, we've had an additional 3 short-term rentals pop up. So right now, we can track 44 short-term rentals. However, I do think that there are more. And these are not, these are very cute boutique style short-term rentals as well. In the northern part of the county, we have 2 short-term rentals, and those are farmhouses that have been completely renovated that are charging about $400 a night and can house 10 to 12 family members, individuals. What this means is that you're going to see more family gatherings, generational travel. We are already seeing that at the visitor center, where 2 or 3 different generations are coming in with grandchildren, wanting to basically have an experience. And it might not be that they're traveling far, but they're just going to different sites and sharing in those memories. So that's kind of the trending that we are seeing right now. Why this is important as far as short-term rentals, Ross County, their short-term rental count as of 2 weeks ago is 88. And Hocking County, which of course we butt up against, their short-term rental, that generates $3 million in lodging tax. So it's something to be aware of as we move forward. As far as event sponsorship, we have a community calendar, and it's free for anyone to be able to publish events. We are actually gaining on all of our Christmas activities, holiday activities, lots of things going on. We receive 16,000 visits annually to that specific page. Individuals are wanting to know what is going on in our community, wanting to participate. And about 30% of our time is devoted to local organizations. It does not necessarily have to be a county-wide, but it can be a community event. And I've listed just a few of those. How do users interact with us? We have our travel magazine. I think many of you have already seen this. We have printed out 10,000 copies, and these are in 300 locations across Ohio, Indiana, and also Pennsylvania. Jenny Rhodes does a lot of our marketing and community interaction within the City of Circleville. My reach is more up north and then also within our regions. So I'm headed to Ross County, Fairfield, Delaware, outskirts. Those are the individuals that we want to receive to be able to come in and be our guests for the day, for the night. We have our Discover Pickaway app. And then also the Ohio Department of Development has a co-op opportunity. It's a joint marketing program where it requires matching funds, However, that's to print different marketing, branding things, publications. In October, we were featured on the cover for the holiday events. This gets 100,000 visitors to look at it. We have 5 events that are featured in this publication that just came out this past week. Deer Creek is one of those. They have their Thanksgiving buffet. It is already sold out. They're looking at a second date to announce that. With that, how does Deer Creek benefit the city? Deer Creek generates lodging tax. 80% of our, well, more than 80% of all of our marketing is done within the city of Circleville. So those dollars coming from Deer Creek, coming from Monroe Township and Oliver, it's a coordinated effort. We have billboards, State Route 23 North. We also advertise in the Ohio Travel Magazine. So this one is the most recent that you're going to see for 2024. We also have countywide excursions. Recently, we had the Circleville Heritage Walk, and also we had flower farm tours over the county. At this point, we are receiving visitors at the Welcome Center. We recently received a grant from Pickaway County Community Foundation and South Central Power for renovations of the Welcome Center. And this includes more interactive displays. We do have, we are almost complete with stage 1, which includes all of our vertical displays. Right now, we have over 75 different brochures featuring different assets within the county, Inspiration Station, some of our restaurants, some of our hotels, but also those are also featuring areas where you can go outside of the county. We have a partnership with Cleveland, with Dayton, where we feature their brochure, their travel guide, they feature ours. So it's a reciprocating. As far as email marketing, 16,000 emails have been sent year to date. We have a 41% open rate. The industry standard is 17. So we are kicking that one. 10% click-through rate. So basically, if someone opens up the email and clicks on a link, that is our 10%. Industry standard is 2.3. What I found interesting was that 93% are desktop users. They're not using a cell phone yet. So that's something that, you know, as we're working through things, we're looking more at our demographics and doing some tracking on that. Not uncommon, female heads of household, 77% are making decisions as far as travel. Website visitors, 18,000. Website page views, about 42,000. Facebook followers, about 8,000. Overall, the Pickaway County Visitors Bureau doesn't produce a widget. We don't manufacture anything. We typically don't create events. But what we do, we're storytellers. We look at the branding, we look at the marketing, we share the stories of the community. The good thing is we can do that with pictures, unlike this book. And we're marking time. We're creating those memories for individuals that want to come visit, that stay with us, that are guests. And it's pretty awesome role to have. Are there any questions?
Council, have any questions for Elizabeth? A lot of wonderful information. The clerk has a copy. We'll make sure she scans that in so we can email that out to people as information and distribution. So yeah, thank you very much for your information.
Sure, absolutely. I only have one request. As we go through 2025, we have many, many new residents coming in. Would ask for you to share our app information, our calendar of information. There's many that still don't know that we are existing and want to be able to get that word out.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank
Thank
you.
you,
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Thank you for all the work you do.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Council?
I was going to ask a question real quick. Mayor, do we have that? We do have the links on our city website, I believe, right, for all the
Believe so.
Visitors Bureau? Yes, good. Thank you.
So we've got some new business items I also want to take care of. So first, how about we excuse one of our council members who announced he couldn't be here tonight. So moved by Katie Hedges to excuse Jeff Hallinan, seconded by Tom Klitschko. All in favor, say aye to excuse Jeff.
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So council, as you know, with the fact that we could not pass any legislation without, unable to suspend the rules, to help move things along, to have this second reading, per our council rules, Rule 1B, we can have a special council meeting. And I would like to have that next Tuesday. But to do that, I need 3 council members to request a special council meeting to consider all the legislation for a second reading. So do I have 3 of you willing to do that? Tom Duvall wants to have a special council meeting next Tuesday at 6. Tom Klitschko wants to have a special council meeting next Tuesday at 6, and so does Katie Hedges. With that being said, then we will have a special council meeting next Tuesday here in council chambers at 6 o'clock for the purpose of the second reading of all pieces of legislation. Okay?
I'm sorry, what time is it?
6. Because we have a meeting at 5:45. That's going to be the finance meeting. Special council meeting at 6. That meeting should take about a total of 10 minutes. So then at 6, or immediately following the regular, or the special council meeting, I want to call a committee of the whole meeting. Following the special council meeting, the purpose of that meeting is to consider some projects to finish out the year using ARPA funds. We have an available balance that we've been notified by the auditor. I talked to administration today. They're working on several different options to use the remaining balance. I would like for the committee of the whole to review those and make a decision on what projects we will complete or have on the books by year end. Is that right?
Yes. I did want to bring up that if we're going to be doing the finance committee meeting prior to that, that ordinance wouldn't be able to go to council for that night. So we would still only have 2 readings of that for the rest of the year. So I'm wondering if we're going to need to have another special council meeting.
We potentially could have more special council meetings in December to move legislation along, but I just know we have 7 now. So to get those to the first meeting in December so we can act upon those. So the housekeeping ordinance that you're going to consider next Tuesday would go for its first reading in this first meeting in December.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just
And
want-
again, we may have to have special council meetings in December to facilitate getting those things passed by year end, because I know
Okay.
you'll need housekeeping ordinance passed by year end.
Okay.
So again, the purpose of the committee as a whole is to consider and prioritize some projects to use up the remaining ARPA funds. And that will be right after the special council meeting. Okay, thank you very much, council, for calling the special meeting. Is there any other new business? Sherry?
Thank you, President Keller. Yes, at our meeting last week, the Strategic Planning Committee forwarded to the council a proposal that we do Christmas cards again this year to send to our volunteer boards and commission members. The cost on that is for 50 personalized cards is approximately $125. Postage stamps are 73 cents. So that's another $38, $40. So the total cost would be in the ballpark of $165, $175. We would like to propose that to council members and see if people would like to do that again this year.
So you're motioning for us to do the
Yeah,
cards?
I would make
for
a motion,
volunteers?
yes, that we send
Okay. Is there a second
these
to that?
Christmas cards out.
Seconded by Tom Duvall. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
I think it's a great
Thank
opportunity.
Yep, thank you. Is there any other new business before council this evening? Is there a motion to adjourn? So moved by Tom Duvall, seconded by John Moats. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
City council is adjourned at 7:59 PM.